How's it going, everybody? How's your Halloween going? This is Kirk and Tommy.
Yo, yo, yo.
Here with LaneFlix Media, and we're here to talk about Ridley Scott's Alien from 1979.
Damn, it's from 79?
1979.
Oh, fuck.
Wild, right? Yeah, the year before Empire Strikes Back, year before The Shining, same year as Amityville Horror, 4 years after Jaws, just to kind of put it in perspective. A year after the original Dawn of the Dead, so definitely a landmark for sci-fi and horror, but just in general, I think it's just left such a footprint on like movies, in general. Directed by Ridley Scott, starring Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, Harry Dean Stanton, Yaphet Kotto, and Ian Holm, and God, I always forget the woman's name.
The chick with the blue eyes?
Yeah, the like short-haired chick. And I'm just gonna give you the synopsis real quick, and then we're gonna jump into the the plot. You know how the shit goes.
Yeah, how it goes.
So in deep space, the crew of the commercial starship Nostromo is awakened from their cryosleep capsules halfway through their journey home to investigate a distress call from an alien vessel. The terror begins when the crew encounters a nest of eggs inside the alien ship. An organism from inside an egg leaps out and attaches itself to one of the crew, causing him to fall into a coma. And then other shit happens. I don't know why the synopsis ended there.
Yeah, it's like weird.
But it's just kind of the kickoff. To start, just like pound for pound, because this is a movie you could talk about for hours, and we got to get through like some stuff. Ridley Scott is on my list of directors to eventually spotlight. Tommy and I have been talking about doing a director spotlight series for a long time. So eventually we're going to be doing little documentary type videos, just kind of focusing on some of our favorite movies from, specific directors. Our favorite directors, I should say, yeah, for sure. But the director of Blade Runner and Gladiator, before any of that, he directed a little sci-fi horror movie called Alien. And the practicality and the down-to-earth approach he brought to it really, I think, is what gave him his footprint, in modern movies and movies in general. But a lot of it looks like something right out of Star Wars. It's that like kind of dirty, like the original Star Wars movies. Like it looks like lived in already. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? It looks natural, like it would look, like you would imagine it realistically looking. And I don't know, right off the bat, you just get this atmospheric feel of like, this is going to be a slow-paced movie because like the title itself comes up so slowly.
Right.
Remember like the little lines start popping up and it's like, and you're just kind of scanning through space as this is happening. So you could look at it like you're just like in the ship looking out the window or like, whatever. But yeah, they established the pace very early on. All the actors are very natural. I don't know. I didn't look that far into it to see if there was a lot of improv, but I know it felt really natural.
Yeah, definitely.
Like especially them talking over each other. That was a thing in the 70s and 80s. Like they did that in movies. They don't do that anymore.
I see that a lot in shows as well now. Too.
Yeah,
like older shows, I should say, not now, but yeah,
right.
That was like a thing.
Yeah, just to give it like a more natural, like diegetic feeling. To attest to the practicality of the film, they used sheep guts and I want to say it was some type of like frog or turtle or something they used parts of to animate the like the little pod that the facehugger was in, the facehugger itself, and then even parts of the alien. So it's insane that back then you couldn't use any computer graphics, you couldn't use any computer-generated imagery. You couldn't use, anything like that. You had to have it all in camera. And that's part of why I think this movie holds up so much, because none of it looks like dated effects. It all just looks like it's there because it is, But right off the bat, you get Captain Dallas, right, in this name?
I think so, yeah.
The main guy. And they play games with you at first because you're not sure, especially if you've never seen it, you're not familiar with it. You don't know who the hero is supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, like, there's all these... You even said that when we first started. You're like, damn, you don't even really know if it's going to be, like, him or her or whoever, you know?
Who's going to end up, like... Yeah.
Because you were even questioning. You were like, isn't she the one? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, there's so many people here, though. Like, and I was like, it's a little haunted house movie in space, bro. They all get killed off little by little.
Little by little.
But, who was your favorite character when you were introduced to all of them? Like, who endeared to you the most? Because the guy from Twin Peaks is really funny. He's just like a little stoner friend.
I forgot. I don't know his name.
I don't remember his name in this either, but it doesn't matter. He's Carl, dude.
Yeah, he's definitely cool as fuck. I'm trying to remember who was the coolest one.
Yaphet Kotto's cool as hell too. He's just like clowning all the time.
The whole time. I feel like I like him the most because like he's a very relatable character to me because like that's literally what I'd be doing on the show.
Right,
as well.
just
like,
talking shit.
Just talking shit.
Like,
yeah, just trying to have a good time.
Right,
bro.
like a little vacation.
Literally, like. The most out of the way kind of characters are the guys who I like, you know what I mean? Always fucking love in these movies, but yeah. As far as my favorite character, I'd have to say, like when first meeting them and everything. Yeah, I'd have to say my boy Carl, for sure.
Oh yeah.
What's the other guy's name? Yaphet. He might be like second for sure, but yeah. Carl's literally just like rolling up joints in space, like Mile High Club.
Yeah, I want to say I liked Sigourney Weaver from the beginning, but I honestly didn't when I first saw it a few times. I was I don't really care for her all that much, but then as the movie goes along, she kind of wins you over because she's so like... Yeah, I'm determined to survive.
Yeah, and because she's surviving, and like she's definitely like not as much of a likable character at the beginning because everyone's like trying to save their friend, and she comes in and she's kind of like, well, you broke quarantine protocol, and even though she's like kind of right, you know what I mean?
She's 100% right, but it's also like she's like rocking the boat, right? So it's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, do I side with her? Do I side with them? Like,
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And towards the end, you see
who was right for sure.
Shout.
But yeah, we kind of navigate through them dealing with this whole distress call business. They argue about, are we going to get extra pay? Are we going to blah, blah, blah? Like, this wasn't part of our contract. And then Uncle Bilbo, Ash, was that his name?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He was like, which is fucked up, too, because our boy Ash, it's like... shout out to Ash Williams, bro. Shout out to Bruce Campbell, bro. That's that man. But it's just like horrible because he like defaced both Bilbo and Ash. And it's just like, and if you want to throw Ash Ketchum in there too, bro, like horrible. Like this guy is like a horrible. Like, he's not even a human being, but
Ash
spoilers.
Ketchum.
But yeah, so throughout the movie, you kind of get this sense that there's some weird other shit going on, but you don't really know what until later. They go to investigate this distress signal, and basically they find that it's this strange planet where the signal is being emitted from this like chamber underground, right? So it's like they figured out how... It was the space jockey, right? The big thing and the like gun-looking thing that was shooting out the signal. So this creature who we can only assume is one of the big blue guys from Prometheus sent out this signal after being attacked by the Xenomorphs there. That's kind of the chain of events I get. They show... I think they do like a little hollow projection of it in Prometheus. And they even show you them fighting, but like... in a different scene, so it doesn't add up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like it's just like a different time they fought. You know? Right. But yeah, so I mean, there's all these little clues. There's all these little puzzle pieces you can put together between the movies. But ultimately, this movie, it's kind of like it's a lot like the original Star Wars because you can fit it together with the other movies, or you can just watch it as its own thing. And as its own thing, it is one of the great sci-fi horror movies, like 100%. I mean, Event Horizon, even The Matrix, like a bunch of different stuff have taken a lot of inspiration from Alien. Yeah, just in aesthetic alone, but also the idea of having a crew in space, like Firefly. Like Firefly is one of those shows I love, but wouldn't be there without Alien. the first like really fucked up scene we wanted to talk about was when Harry Dean Stanton gets taken.
Oh yeah.
So, well, I guess before that, you want to talk about the the John Hurt scene where he gets.
Jesus.
What do you want to like? Because
I guess that happens first.
Yeah. All right. So, I was explaining to Tommy right before we watched this scene. We just finished the movie earlier. I would compare the chest burster scene in this film to the, I guess, defibrillator scene from The Thing from 1982, which our boys from Sofa Kingdom are reviewing for us this season. And that basically is like the pivotal point of like, okay, we just went from is this a problem to this is the problem.
This is
like,
the problem.
You know what I mean? That type of turning point of the story in the movie. That's the only reason I compared it, and it's just really great practical effects. You know, it was like I was telling you, like the way they edited it, and I loved how they started quick cutting as soon as it got really violent, and like you had a couple, you had like the shirt burst, and that was the actor. They had something in his shirt, like just blow, like some little air shit or something to like blow, and then the red blood, you know. But then after the fact, they quick cut to a mannequin it was a pretty good mannequin, especially for back then, that it actually like bursts out of. So it's a lot like the scene in the Thing too. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even realize that it was a mannequin that it came out of.
Yeah, so like the first time it shoots out, it's
him, right? It's actually,
and then it cuts back to like them reacting, and then it cuts back, and it's the mannequin.
Wow, they do that pretty well because like you're focusing on the stomach and the alien, not the whole.
And they do it with spoilers. They do it with Ash later too.
Ah, wow!
You notice that?
Yeah.
And even when they're doing the head thing. The head thing was a fake head, and then they like moved it around and like plugged it in, and then it was his head stuck through the table. Yeah. So it's just cool. Like there's cool little touches like that. The one really nice touch in the face burster scene to me is when the Xenomorph is stuck up out of his chest, looking around. Behind the Xenomorph, you can see his hands twitching.
Yeah,
his hands are like convulsing, like his body is just like
literally
reacting, but he's dead, you know. And it's fucking brilliant to me. Like so
at that point, he was already like a mannequin as well.
That was a mannequin.
That's crazy.
That was an air powered or electric mannequin. You know, they had, like,
that's crazy, dude.
It's pretty great shit.
Hey, they fooled me.
That's
I gotta give it to them. They fooled me,
bro. A little 43-year-old movie.
He's like, you fucking youngsters.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Ridley Scott, he had it back in the day, bro.
Yeah, shout out to him. Dude.
Yeah, shout out to Ridley Scott for sure. But specifically after the fact, the Xenomorph gets away. They all start, of course, bickering about it. Is he the first one to die, Harry Dean Stanton? I think he is. That is the first one.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R.I.P., bro. It was a little Carl from Twin Peaks. He's looking for the cat because Sigourney Weaver and Yaphet Kotto run into the cat Jones, and the cat runs away, and they get mad at him. So like, go find that fucking cat, man, because he's gonna set off our motion detector again.
Right.
So he goes to find it by himself. There's this whole like cat and mouse, which is funny because he's looking for a cat type vibe of the Xenomorph like hanging up in the rafters, and then like slowly dropping down like among the wires and exhaust lines and stuff. So it's like you said, like it's so beautifully camouflaged in it.
Big time.
To the point to where he's right on top of the guy before he even knows he's there. You know, it's just brilliant.
Yeah, a lot of the times people, like, what I noticed in the movie, like, people have to turn, like, all the way around to know that alien is there. It's not like they're just like, oh, fuck, this big thing.
Right.
You know, he's literally so well, like, it's like he was made, like, to blend in with that ship. Right. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like the ship, like, it's like he absorbed part of the ship somehow.
Literally, like.
And, like, it's like he's like a transformer, like, scanning shit.
Because that's another big part of the movie as well, is, like, he'll just be in weird parts of the ship, and, like sometimes the movie would pan by him, and I would know I'm supposed to see him because the music would get all like tense. I'm like, fuck, I don't see him, and then they would go back to it. And he's just
like a bit or something,
just a little bit, yeah. It's
just
like
enough to be like, oh fuck, yeah. So, this is definitely one of those movies that it definitely earns its reputation.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But the thing that was like the nice touch about the Harry Dean Stanton death is that he looks up to see or he doesn't look up. It's after he's taken. Yaphet Kotto and Sigourney Weaver run because they hear him screaming. They look up and there's this water dripping down, and then you see a couple dark drops, and you're like, "What?" And it's on the camera.
On the camera.
And then you cut to Yaphet Kotto reacting. He has his hand up, and he looks at his hand, and there's blood dripping down. And it's just like they perfectly integrate you into his point of view, and then bring you out to look at, so you know exactly what you're looking at. You know? It's just really well done. It's a really there's a lot of subtlety in this movie that they don't put in movies that much anymore. It's pretty crazy.
I was gonna say maybe CG is kind of like it's good and bad.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's good and bad to almost everything.
Right.
Like gritty, lived-in realism to me is what really sells this movie and gets you to believe the weird, crazy shit. You know, because it looks like somewhere that it looks like some type of like government facility because it's so horribly kept and like, you know what I mean? Like it grounds you.
Yeah, I guess
like,
it is though. Technically,
it's
not
like,
not that, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. No, it is because I mean it's just people using it. None of them like have any stakes. You know what I'm saying? They're just making their little hourly, annual, whatever pay. But when Ripley is singing at the end, we're skipping ahead a little bit, but I don't want to dwell too much on like the meat and potatoes because it's just that good of a movie.
It is.
But little by little, they all get picked off. It's the 10 Little Indians type concept, and then, or should I say 10 Little Native Americans concept.
I was going to say racist.
Yeah, dude, fuck, I'm such an appropriator. And she is like the final girl of the movie, you could say that, because the year before that was Halloween, and that was the first final girl like of a big movie.
What was the first final black man?
Oof.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe even it might even be Get Out, TBH, bro. I can't even lie. Yeah. Okay. Shout out to little Jordan Peele and Daniel Kaluuya, my boys.
He understood the assignment.
Fuck yeah, dude. Literally the first final black man.
I love how that's like just a running joke. Like,
yeah.
And like literally since I was a kid, I've heard that joke. Like, oh my god,
always the first one to go, bro.
Yes, sir.
Not an alien.
Not
though.
an alien.
Not an alien.
Yeah, shout out to Alien.
They subverted the expectations there for sure. Yeah, he's like third or fourth.
He's kind of one of the last people standing, isn't he? Like him and the chick guy.
Sigourney Weaver, and the chick we can't remember her name.
Short hair.
Something Nancy Cartwright, maybe is that her? Veronica Cartwright. That's her name. Shout out to Veronica Cartwright. But yeah, there's not really a lot of music other than little stings when they're trying to scare you.
Yeah.
But like throughout the action and like the stuff going on between the characters and the Xenomorph, there's not really a ton of music to influence you. You know,
it's definitely not overdone. Yeah, it's definitely not even tracks. It's like pieces of
right.
You know what I mean? And like I said, like they'll do it sometimes to build tension, but it isn't this like overdrawn thing at all. Like,
yeah, it's more of just like wallpaper, like a John Carpenter movie, where it's like just in the background, like just to kind of flavor it. You know,
big time.
We were wondering, though, because I don't remember if they actually ever hurt the Xenomorph, but when Ripley's singing at the end, it looks like he's hurt because he's just, or they, I don't know what gender the Xenomorph is.
Well, I guess it like impregnated a guy. Well, I don't know. I guess we don't know how their species works because there's like starfish and shit.
You're fucking wrong. Men can get pregnant.
Yeah.
No.
They're like, in the fish world... In the fucking fish world, goldfish can change. I'm like, okay, goddamn.
We're not fucking fish.
I'm like, I understand it.
Couldn't tell if the Xenomorph is hurt or not because he's like crammed in between this machinery, but then he's just sort of there, not trying to fuck with her.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's going on? You know, we couldn't really figure that out.
I was gonna say, yeah, you didn't see a part where she would have injured it, right?
I don't. Maybe they blasted it with the fire like once and burned it. I don't know.
Because the way that it was in the ship, it's like it was stuck. But maybe that was just his like little hiding spot. Like, you know what I mean? That's weird.
That's what I figured because he was hiding. He was very like predatory. Like, he would go hide and wait. You know what I mean? For them to come to him.
You know the creepy part about that scene is like she passes by that wall a couple of times and like you literally see him, like you see his head and shit. But he's just so well camouflaged. I'm like, oh, maybe that's a part of the ship that just looks like Alien's head, and then like he's like,
yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Come out, or, like, he'll move
like
his head
some
a
weird
bit.
shit, bro. Like, yeah.
One thing that I did want to mention, I never noticed all the little runes on the helmets. They did a close up of the.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, when it
wow.
zoomed in on like Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was like a
really
bunch
cool.
of little writing. I was like, that's interesting.
It was like engraved on it.
Yeah, I wonder if it means anything. But that's a little detail that, because of technology nowadays, you watch a Blu-ray, 4K, whatever, you kind of get a little more details like that. So, favorite scene?
Favorite scene. Actually, I guess finding out that little Ash is a fucking droid.
Okay.
Because
that's definitely like it's one of the more like I would say interesting scenes because of how it's done. Because they it looks like he's like sweating milk and you're like, what the fuck? And then as the scene goes along and like they come to help her and stuff, he just like you start seeing like, oh shit, he's like an alien or something.
And he's like spiraling out of control. Yeah, I honestly thought like the alien had gotten inside of him. Remember, I was like, fuck, he's done. But yeah, he's literally just like a droid. Like, it's crazy.
I figured like all that white shit is just like coolant or something,
Yeah.
It's definitely like a classic hailed for a reason. I mean, a lot of reasons. There's, the effects. There's Ridley Scott's direction. There's Sigourney Weaver just as one of many great performances in the movie. And I mean, all of it ties together and sums to just one of the great sci-fi horror movies of all time, I think. And yeah, I mean, favorite character? Oh, you already said. Yeah, you already said. My bad.
Did you say it or?
I don't think I did. My favorite character. I need to say my favorite scene too. My favorite character. I think I gotta go with Yaphet Kotto.
Bro, he's the
Yaphet Kotto is probably my favorite just because he's the little ray of like humanity and all this crazy shit. Like he just feels like a normal person,
And he kind of he always like strives for just like wanting to be happy, kind of.
Right, like just wanting him and his homies to be happy.
Even in the face of his friend choking, he's like, "What's wrong, baby?"
He's like, "Come on, bro." Favorite scene is either him hanging in the rafters right before he gets Harry Dean Stanton.
I knew, yeah.
Or the chest burster scene, just because of the subtle shit they do in that scene. It's just so well done. Everything in this movie is really well done, though. So.
I gotta give a shout out to my boy Jones too.
Yeah,
he does some phenomenal acting.
Dude, that cat is fucking great.
Best supporting
about a great
actor.
Animal actor. Yeah, man. I don't know how they got that cat to move and like look the way he did, but they killed it.
Like you would think the cat really saw a fucking alien.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He was scared as fuck, and he was like moving like you would think he would if he actually saw that thing. Like, yeah. Shout out to Jones the cat, whatever the cat's name is in real life. But yeah, we're coming back in a couple days. I'm going to drop a bunch of these probably today or Sunday. And then we'll be back finishing up HorrorFest soon. So stay tuned for that. So yeah, it's definitely a movie that's a classic for a reason, a plethora of reasons, but nothing above, I think, the practical effects and the general aesthetic of the movie, because that really just, to me, like, sells everything after it, So, any closing statements?
Just that, I don't know. That definitely a pretty good movie that, I mean, even it was made. The reason I'm so blown that it was made in '79 is that it still stands up to like today's movies, like,
right?
And not even in like, not even just the practical effects, but like the cleverness of it. Like, you know what I mean? It's a pretty good fucking movie.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to go overboard with this video because, like, Dr. Sleep and The Shining, it's one of those little like classic, like iconic movies that I think most people just generally would like.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely check it out. It's streaming, I believe, on HBO Max. If not, it said Stars when I Googled it, which I think is like another 50 cents.
I was going to say, isn't you going to be watching Power or something?
Yeah. So get ready to watch some ads for some BET shit for sure on Stars.
Yikes.
But yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, good ass movie. What would you rate it out of 10?
I'll give it an 8 for sure.
8 out of 10. I would have to give it like an 8.7, I think.
Okay.
Because it's just a classic, man. Like
It
it influenced
is.
so many different movies. It just pioneered a genre, you know. It made like it was like the first real sci-fi horror movie, you know, that really got scary with space, you know. So yeah, we got some more videos coming up, so stay tuned. We've been late to the Horror Fest, but we're just gonna push it into November. So stay tuned. Please don't leave us, because we love having you guys here watching and commenting and stuff. And I think the next thing we're going to do is actually our director spotlights, so that'll probably be December, January.
Okay.
So we're not going to do the double feature duties like we did last year. We're just going to do those more randomly throughout the year when we feel like it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening along and checking us out. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, and peace out.
Peace.